and welcome to the session Introduction to Cinema. Today we will discuss pre-production. Filmmaking involves a great number of involved operations and the use of many sophisticated machines by film production personnel. Even in a small film, you can see much of the same patterns, though the medium has been advancing all through the years. Although the film as a medium and its production has experienced many transformations and technical changes in the past few years, it's important to keep in mind that the key to great filmmaking is still the storytelling. As equipment has evolved and become increasingly adaptable, production techniques have also evolved in order to take advantage of new opportunities. Making a film is a creative process that happens in three stages: pre-production, production and post-production. The first stage, pre-production, is the planning stage, which includes creating the final scripts, paperwork, selecting locations and hiring cast and crew. It also involves booking equipment and production facilities, dealing with legal paperwork, creating a budget, and accounting for additional rentals and services. It might take approximately 1/3 of your total time. While the actual production, that is the shooting of the required footage and recording location sound, might take approximately 1/6 of your total time. The final stage, the post-production or the editing stage, has now started taking half of your total time. Post-production is an extremely creative stage, and you must have time to edit, screen and re-edit wherever necessary. It includes screening and logging your footage, recording or accessing music, recording voice and sound effects, creating animations, illustrations and text graphics, and editing the assorted visuals and soundtracks. The addition of transitions and effects, mixing, color correcting, creating time-coded copies for preview, and creating masters and submasters also happens in post-production. But please note that all these time estimates are very loose and will vary depending on your production. Let us look at pre-production. The primary purpose of pre-production is to design and plan every step for creating a film. This shortly follows the ideation and development of the basic one-line or storylines. Good planning ensures that the high-priced production stage runs smoothly and that all the footage that is required gets shot. In fact, development is also an unclear period where the film's conception and basic storyline takes shape. Development. Development consists of the following activities, which may overlap and may be sequenced in a different order in different movies: treatment, scriptment, plot points, structure. In this phase, the movie story is developed. Every screenwriter has a personal way of developing a story. Sticking to the 3-act structure, the classic structure of filmy storytelling is a cliched but successful way to create a story from any enticing thread. There are 3 main documents that form the creative framework for production, which is developed in pre-production: the proposal, the script and the short list, scene list or storyboard. The proposal will contain a working title, the medium to be used, the scenario including story form and treatment, technical considerations and the budget. Treatment. The treatment is a document that writers show to directors, producers and other prospective collaborators in order to quickly showcase the story and to get the feel of the project. A short document, usually between 3 to 5 pages long, it takes less time to write it and read it. It is written in prose with long blocks of text. Here, there will be no special formatting for dialogue or scene heading. It looks and reads like a novel but will be in the present tense. Having apart from the story synopsis and outline, it will give special moments and other highlights of the characters and filming. It may include special dialogues used and techniques in which the story is evolving, like flashbacks. The treatment will also help to measure the viability of a story. It will tell us about the craft involving and visualize the film. Even if a screenplay is written by many persons, having a treatment keeps everyone in the same story. Treatments can be commercial, dramatic, documentary, or educational. Its structure may differ based on the prospective investors or production clubs who are on to read it before investing time to read a full script. Scriptments, meanwhile, are elongated and much more detailed treatment. It incorporates much more prose than a script, but more dialogue, specific scenes, and character information than an average treatment. Scriptments combine elements of script and treatment, especially the dialogue elements, and may be anywhere from 40 to 80 pages. It fleshes out some of the bigger moments and scenes of the script to the reader, giving a greater ability to flesh out the story in their mind and really picture it without having to read the whole script. Having developed the basic structure of the story, for most screenwriters, the next step usually involves writing a scene-by-scene outline of the whole movie. Many writers use an index card for each scene because they are easy to rearrange on a board. Writing the screenplay. Once a movie director or a production house shows interest in the storyline, the script writer will have detailed discussions with them before he starts to develop his detailed script. The director's vision, referred to as the film's overall look or design, as well as its narrative structure or the way the story is told, is an important guideline for a script writer while developing his scripts. And when the writer has a crystal clear vision of the structure, plot points, and scene outline, after this partnership, the screenplay truly begins. The script is like a blueprint or plan for how the story will unfold on the screen. It tells what happens to whom and when. It includes primarily the actor's original dialogue apart from the plot. Though screenwriter writes the story, it needs to be emphasized, however, that the director may make changes in the script throughout the production process. The film script can be written in master script style using the full page or in split page format with video on the left and audio part on the right on a full scape page. But ordinarily, the script does not include camera angles, lighting data, and other technical information. Now, there are softwares like Final Draft which aids in screenplay writing, saving your time. The first drafts of the screenplays are rewritten many times. Most talented writers produce at least 3 drafts before the screenplay can be deemed usable. It must be noted that before the works on pre-production starts, the script will be almost complete, except for maybe some minor rewrites and polish. The film project will have already received the official green light by the studio, network, or investors. Now, the production banner establishes a production office and the production budget is drawn up to plan expenditures. It is important that the estimations are as accurate as possible to avoid going over budget. For major productions, insurance is acquired to protect against accidents and, of course, lawsuits. All the financial logistics, which tells how and when associated creative people are paid, etc., are also worked out. Since pre-production is the first of the 3 stages, it will set the pace for the rest of stages of production. The amount of time spent in pre-production varies based on the type of project. For a low-budget independent film, it may be typically 4 to 8 weeks, while for a big-budget studio film, it may extend from anywhere from 2 months to a year or more, depending on the complexity and scale of production. Now, let us look at budgeting. A well-thought-out budget is a clear plan for making a film. It's a blueprint culmination of the script which dictate how to proceed to every decision while making the project. And a good budget reveals a lot about how a film is going to be made, what kind of story it will be telling, what kind of crew to use, and what sort of equipment to select. A budget is not something to be written and left in a file cabinet. It is a living document, and if you keep careful track of your expenses and compare them to your budget periodically, it can be a powerful tool for managing your production. For example, suppose a director asks for keeping 7 assistants while shooting. The budget will tell whether the production can afford it. There will be a cost report that shows where you are in comparison to your budget at a given time and is usually updated on a periodic basis. The faster you are spending money, the more often you should create cost reports. It is often said that there is a triangle of quality in production: the story itself, the production schedule, and the production budget. Changes to one of the 3 corners of this triangle affect the other 2. Thus, all of the budgeting depends upon your story and your schedule. First, the story and the screenplay is set, then the budget, and then the schedule as per the provisions in the budget. The movie project will have a sample, undetailed production schedule on which the budget is made. While preparing the budget, try to list the key assumptions like the proposed length of the film, the formats, number of major crew members, expected shooting ratio, and expected types of sets needed for the film. With this list of assumptions, a detailed script, and a draft schedule, you're almost ready to start budgeting. The spreadsheet programs like Microsoft Excel also helps to create a budget fairly quickly without any specialized software. But several software packages are available that are designed specifically for film budgeting. They include EP Budgeting, Production Pro Budgeting, Axiom Budgeting, and Showbiz Budgeting, which is made specifically for the purpose. The budget top sheet is a one-page summary of the budget. Expenses of a film budget are generally divided into 2 sections. Above the line costs are those which include the so-called key creative costs, such as those for the producer, director, writer, and actors, and may also include the cost of rights required to buy the scripts. Below the line costs normally include the hard production costs, such as crew, equipment, and services. Now, we look at the detailed budget. Creating a detailed budget requires a lot of research. Every budget is different, and one needs to call all likely crew members, vendors, post facilities, hotels, and airlines for guidance in bids and to start negotiating rates. A production manager usually knows the established wages and rates that is being followed in the industry, and this will help him to set his budgets. The payment heads may include the spend for story and other rights if needed to those for actors, director of photography, sound recorders, production assistants, and editing staff. Under the head of production expenses are those for the camera, sound, lighting, and grip equipment, the facilities and the services required to shoot. There must be sections to include food and other travel expenses of crew members. Film production is often a situation that reminds you of a war. Cars and property get damaged, and chances are that even people get hurt. And so, you need insurances that are tailor-made for the entertainment industry. Apart from office and administrative costs that also finds a place in a movie's budget, there must be a line for promotion, publicity, and creation and management of a website. Production is unpredictable, and contingency prepares you for the unexpected. And so a buffer, typically between 5 and 10% of the total budget, is kept as a contingency fund. Some production banners also maintain a secondary budget, that is budget B, which lists a lesser amount from the original. This is made taking into account of the compromises that can be made to reduce the budget to an appropriate level but still maintaining the project's initial vision.